Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Zatima. It's on BET Plus every Thursday. This is season 3, episodes 13 and 14. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe to my channel, and you can leave your comments below. So let's get into these episodes. Okay, so we start off the episode where we left off. Zatima finds out that Jeremiah is alive. Now, Jeremiah at this point is kind of up and coherent because Connie had to just say, Jeremiah, and he's up. He's not up. He's still laying there. We see him got bruises all over and has a neck brace. And they find out that the doctor just says that he's just got some bruises. I said, bruises? Bruises only? What? After the way Zach tried to murder that dude? Like, what the mess? So, it's a big relief. Of course, Jeremiah's like, what about me? Da, da, da. And they just leave him in there in the hospital. You'll be good. But anyways, it's a big relief to Zatima. Connie says, this is great, right? She said, yeah, so then it's not over, right? Right. And Zatima said, so, of course, Zatima is still on lock after all of this. How Zatima feels is that he needs to stay in there, at least overnight, and learn his lesson. Connie was like, whoa, you think that you should really do that? And she said, yeah, he needs to learn, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So Connie said, cool, I'll let you sort that out, blah, 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 blah. They go back to Zach and Fatima's house, and who comes? Well, Preston somehow was able to still talk to Zach again. Zach wants to speak to Zatima again. He says, I'm not there. He says, can you go by there? Da-da-da-da-da. Zatima gets home. She doesn't really want to talk. And finally, she talks to him. And Zach was like, look, I'm sorry. I really messed up. Blah, 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 blah. And Fatima's asking him different questions just to feel him out where he's at in this whole situation. And Fatima's like, oh, really? Are you sure? What if this was to happen again? What would you do? Zatima wasn't believing nothing he was saying. That prison talk where people act like, I ain't gonna do it no more. Like Mr. Brown, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. That thing, remember that? So, of course, and then she asked, what? She asked one question, and it was like, so if the family's attacked, are you going to still try to hurt somebody? Zach was like, maybe, but that wasn't good enough for Zatima. I think that was an honest answer, though, Zatima. I don't think you can hold it against him for wanting to protect his family. So that's not fair. On one hand, I get it. You don't want him to get into trouble. But just to tell him, oh, he can't act out in this way is crazy. He needs a lot of therapy to handle his emotions. And to really critical think, is this really worth it? Do I have to stand up for my family in this way? That's another way to put it, but I think he needs somebody in his life to really kind of direct him in another way of problem solving, because he doesn't have critical thinking skills on some things. He lets his emotions get in the way. Now, Devout, he was on Twitter a couple of days ago, and I like his insight. He saw some comments about, is Zach kind of, I hope this is YouTube friendly, bipolar, as to how his mood can go and shift. It can go to 0 and 100 in a flash of a second. I think that that's something that should be really thought of, and not in this whole weaponizing type of situation that it happens a lot. Not just in the black culture, but all of these illnesses that people are really dealing with, it's more of someone weaponizing it and trying to shame people and attack people with it. No, people have disorders, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. So, yeah. Fatima was like, look, I don't really want to talk to you no more. Because he was asking, can you help? And she was like, no, I'm not helping you. Blah, 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 blah. And then she just hands the phone back over to Preston. Preston leaves and all that good stuff. Dr. Reed comes over. And they talk. She tells him, hey, Jeremiah is still alive. He's like, well, that's good, right? Like, yeah. And she says, I want him to sit in there, and I think he needs to learn a lesson. Dr. Reed says, is it just learning a lesson, or you want him to suffer? And Fatima was like, it's both. Then she asked, what do you think I should do? And Dr. Reed said, I'm paraphrasing. Don't put me in your mess. Dr. Reed did ask, did she want to talk about some things? She said, well, you're really Zach's therapist. I think that is another way for Fatima to avoid the stuff that's going on in her. I mean, Dr. Reed said, hey, I think you need therapy. She's like, oh no, I've had therapy. She wants to not really address the things that are going on in her. So Dr. Reed said, do what you do, and I'm going to leave. Dr. Reed is leaving. Connie, she is in her car and looks like she done fell asleep. But she woke up at when the door had opened. And she saw Fatima and Dr. Reed hugging. When Dr. Reed leaves, Fatima goes to the door, her car door, and notices that the car is running. She says, oh, the car's running, so I guess you could be on your way. And she said, yeah. Then she said, who is that? And she said, I already told you that is Zach's doctor, therapist or whatever. Okay. There was just a little suspicion there. So Connie goes to the other side of town, back to the projects, and meets up with Nathan and Tony. I do apologize. I got this cough out of nowhere. She tells them, Jeremiah is alive. Fatima knows, and she's going to let him sit in there for a day. Nate's not having it. He's like, you don't know what it's like to be locked up in jail. Da, 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 da. I got to get my boy out, and Fatima's wrong for this. Do I think Fatima is wrong? I don't know, because it's like Fatima and all of Zach's loved ones were trying to stop him for doing something so dangerous. It was looking like it was going to be an unaliving. And it was the unaliving of your brother. That you're just trying to say that this was a protecting your family situation when you were really triggered in a different way. Beating someone to practically being unalive is not good. And nobody wants, no one realistically, wants their baby father / husband in and out of jail or staying in jail. So I can't say I fault Fatima for not coming to his rescue right away. It might have been cool to tell him, hey, you don't have a strong enough charge on you or the same strength. But I don't understand Nate. I guess Nate wants to talk about, oh, well, he shouldn't be in jail. You don't know what that's like. I mean, it's been 2 hours. I don't know how many hours, but an overnight stay in jail is not going to hurt anybody. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Still, Zach assaulted someone to the point of putting them in the hospital. I don't think that that's cool that y'all just. He at least acted like he needs to rescue him out of there because he didn't do what he said that they said that he did. No, I mean, a lot of things could happen. Maybe he could be picked on because he did allegedly unalive someone. I get that part, but right now Zach is fine, you know. So Nate's on a mission to free his boy and to find a way to be a savior to his boy and to make Fatima be the devil. I don't like that. So as Nathan walks off, Tony says, "I'll go try to find him." And and he asks Connie, you know, "Are you okay?" And she's like, yeah, just go find that boy. Everybody's trying to respect Fatima's wishes. And then they're also like, well, how are we going to get him out of jail if we do? You know? Anyways, Nathan goes to Tony's shop. Tony is there, but we find out that he's high. And he's trying to find ways to see how he can get Zach out. So you're sitting up here on this mission. You can't even get him out. But how is there any progression going on? So Nate knows someone that's in jail as far as a cop. He was able to call Zach to let him know, hey, Jeremiah's still alive. Fatima's trying to keep you up in there, but I'm trying to get you out. Trying to make himself be the hero in this whole situation. Zach said to go talk to Bryce and tell him to talk to this judge to see if he can get him out. They sold a house to him. And he said, bet, cool. What happened also with this guard, he ended up sending the same picture of that Deja took to make this guard show it to Zach of Fatima hugging on Dr. Reed. Of course, he can't see all that, but they were trying to stir up mess. Now, I think that Deja was foul. However, that was a good clapback. I'm sorry. Now, it's dangerous to do that, but at the same point, how much can we fault Deja for wanting to get her get back? So I see both sides, you know, don't come messing with Fatima and Zach like that. I don't like that. But at the same time, that was still a good kickback. That was a good clapback. All right, so Nathan, he couldn't get a hold of Bryce, so he goes to the office and he sleeps there like a hobo. The funniest thing in the world. So Bryce comes in and he's like, ah! Don't take the money, I have no money. It was set up in this like problematic type of way of thinking, oh, a black person is trying to rob them. Whatever. So Nathan informs him of whatever's going on. Bryce talks to the judge. The judge ends up saying that he's not able to help. Then we go to the next morning. Fatima's exercising. She doesn't want the pregnancy weight on her, Angela's like, why did you drag me along for this? Then this guy comes up to Fatima and Angela, and he's flirting. Fatima says, I'm uninterested. And he said, I'm not interested in you, I'm interested in Angela. Later on in the day, at the office, let me go back. In the locker room, Fatima, I guess, was just getting raised so she can go back to her job. She runs into an old friend, Leslie. Apparently, she is as close as like an Angela is. Angela, when she meets Leslie, she tries to stake her claim like, I'm her friend. I'm the closest thing to her. What is this about Fatima and Zach? Everybody's trying to be number one in their lives. It's kind of interesting. Now, Angela doesn't overstep that much over Zach, you know, acting like I really know Fatima, and not like Nathan is, you know. But anyways, I guess they're gonna catch up. She didn't know anything about her breaking up with Ian and all that good stuff, but they're gonna catch up and sue or whatever. So anyways, Angela is asked on a date by that guy that they met at while they were exercising. And Fatima's like, look, are you sure? Because he's coming over to her place. Like, you're letting all these weird people come over, and that's not cool. And she's like, are we going back to this judging thing? I would have said, yeah. Because you just trying to open yourself up to any guy. I mean, at least go over to his place. But I think if you're just meeting somebody, it should be in an open space. and people should know where you are at all times. And don't be letting these strange people and spirits into your home. That's just my opinion. So back in county jail, Bryce got a breakthrough or whatever, and now Zach is being set free, at least on bail. I mean, he could be looking at other charges as far as assault. So Zach is out on bail, and of course, the whole scene was, you know, when your homie get out of jail, they celebrating, and that's how Zach and Nate were doing. Bryce wanted to apologize some more, and Zach like, stop. He got a lot of guilt, and that's just not where Zach is right now. Now Angela, she had this guy over, and all of a sudden he called her a big black bitch, and she got offended by that and kicked him out. She called Fatima about what he said, and he's still at the door. Let me in. And he goes to this window. He told her to go to this window. I gotta show you something. So she goes to this window, and she says, what the? So we don't know what's going on. It feels like, I wonder if she's, I don't know. I think somebody's using her image for something. It seems like it is. But anyways, that was the end of the episode. Y'all let me know. I know there's a lot of Fatima ride or dieters. Do y'all think that Fatima was right for keeping Zach in there? For 24 hours, I don't see what was the problem. I don't know if that extra stress of having a murder charge was something that should have been left on him. I don't know. Like, maybe I would have said, I'll see what I can do and take my time, I don't know. But we have to see. Obviously, Zatima is solid, and I'm happy for that. Those were some interesting scenarios to see them actually go through. But y'all give me your comments below as to what you thought of this episode. Like this video and subscribe. And until the next one, peace.